Hi, my name is Dakota, and I'm going to walk you through building a button using the Tachyons CSS library. It's a library that allows you to apply a combination of classes to individual elements to get the styles that you want. Instead of adding like a button class, like BTN, like you would in Bootstrap, you'll put together a series of classes that apply exactly the styles that you want for the element, making it much easier to customize individual elements without worrying about affecting other elements in your project. Um, and this is really great for things like when you would want to customize Bootstrap, like applying the BTN class applies 450 lines of styles. So you have a lot to go through to customize versus just building it from scratch, which if you're building a simple button that you want to be a certain way, it's definitely an easier way to go. Um, there will be a link to this Plunker in the video description, and I've also done a blog post on keeping your CSS dry with tachyons that will be linked in the notes as well. So at the bottom here, you can find additional resources and documentation for using tachyons. The Tachyons website is a good place to find documentation on the individual modules that are part of the library. It's a good place to learn about the classes that Tachyons provides. This is the link if you want to get easy started, and then I encourage you to read through this. It's pretty cool. So these are all the modules, different modules that you can apply. If you're using Node and you want to include just a couple of them, but if you're just getting started and you're not really into things like Node did, you can look at the documentation here and you can see more of what it's all about. So, for instance, the spacing, you can see these classes here that you can apply, and then you can see what they do. So if you apply the class PA5 to an element, you'll apply that padding. And then this is PH, which is horizontal padding, PV, which is vertical padding, PL for left padding, PR for right padding, PT for top padding, PB for bottom padding, or bottom padding. So it's really powerful what you can do with this. I think you can get a sense looking at it. Once it's just getting a hang of what the class name structure is, but once you've got that, it's very powerful what you can do. So one thing I like to do is to have the Tachyon source code open when I'm working so that I can actually, if I'm working on a specific thing, I can just search through this page, like for color, for instance. And then you can see down on the side, this is where most of it is. So these are the styles that apply to color. And then you can see here we have BG dash and then a color name. And these allow you to apply color styles to an element. And then you can do BG focus. So this is going to apply only when an element is in focus. And then same here, focus, this is just going to apply like a text color when something is in focus. And then hover, same deal. So we're going to be using all that kind of stuff. And then you can see spacing here. These are all these classes. And we'll be using padding all for the button. So that's just a little taste of what you could do. And I know there's going to be a border color. So let's see, I think. Yeah, so border colors will be here. And then border radius we're also going to use. And you can even do responsive versions of all these things. So the media query extensions, they have these .-ns. So down here, that's a good thing you can do is if you just search this document for -ns, you'll see all of the styles that apply to not small screens. So these are styles of screens that are more wide than 30 ems. And then you can apply any of those styles just to that media query just by adding that class. So you can apply different versions of padding or margin to the same element right there without having to change between files or figure out or creating new classes or new media query definitions or whatever. You can do all of that from within your HTML. So it's very powerful. You can edit in the browser. It's really, really cool. So one thing it doesn't have is support for a lot of different colors. So this is a great resource here for web color combinations. You can see these are colors that are basically in the same format as tachyons. So if you inspect the source here, I'm in Chrome, you right click and you can go to inspect, and you can see here that these articles have combinations of background and foreground colors. And you can see, what they look like. So I thought that was really helpful. I'm going to try to do one of these here. I think it's going to be a blue. So I'm going to keep scrolling down until I get to the blue. Okay. This one's kind of cool. So let's see what this one is. So we have BG blue and then lime as the foreground. Okay, and then actually one thing that this resource doesn't have is support for background or for hover effects. So I've added my own. So you can see here you can apply this background navy color also on hover. So you can apply it only on hover to an element. And then you can apply a different background color without being hovered. So it's allows you to do a little bit more. Okay, so all of that said, let's get started building this button here. So this button here this is the element, the HTML element, and what we're going to do is we're going to start applying classes to it. So first I'll add some padding, and that class is PA. I'm going to add 2 rems, and look at that, you have a little bit, and that's hard to see, so I'm going to add one of those background colors. I forgot which one was good. Let me see where that one was again. Sorry, there we go. And then we can look at both of them. All right, so we had a blue one. I like this one. So what's this? It is blue and lime. Okay, so I'm going to apply a background of blue, and then you'll be able to see, here we go, and then lime, and you can see the text is now lime. Okay, I don't like that it's underlined, so one thing you can do is you can add a link class, which will take away the underline, and also apply a transition on for the colors, which will be nice when we do the hover effects. So if we wanted to apply a border to this, we could do border all, and I'll add, that's a little bit hard to see, so what you can do is do border width 2, and then you can, it's a little big, that's a little weird, maybe make it 1. Okay, I'm not sure I like the border at all, so all I have to do is delete those, and it's gone. Okay, but maybe if we wanted to add a border radius, we could do, excuse me, BR2. You can see just a little bit, maybe 3. Yeah, I actually quite like it without the border radius either. So you just take those away and you come back here. And for this, I kind of feel like it would be better if it were in the center. I'm not sure this is going to work, but yeah, it's not going to work. So right now, what I can do to center this is I can make this a block display element. So I can do display block db. And now we have a problem there with the whole width. So I could do width 30. No, it's not going to do it. 40. so that's a little bit too wide, and then I can center the text. So this is applying a width style. What you can do if you want to is you can actually go to one of these resources here. You can look at the source code and then Google width. You can see there's a lot of it down here. So those are max widths. And these are rems, so you can do, that's probably what I want to do. But actually what might be easier, I just want to get away from the edge here. So what I can do is rather than applying this display block and everything, I can just add a margin to the right. And then that should accept. That's not going to apply unless I display inline block it. Oh, except I want margin left. Yeah, okay. So now we have it a little bit, if we can kind of see what that looks like out from the edge. If we want to make it a bigger margin, we can make that 5. There we go. Okay. So next thing I want to do is add some hover. I want to make this change colors on hover. Not quite sure what I want that to be. Like if we wanted to get it darker, or maybe this color, aqua. I think that's aqua. Yeah, BG aqua. So what I can do is check out. I added these hover effects. You can consult those. So if we apply this class here, basically background hover aqua. I should get a refresh, and now we get that. Cool. That's a little bit. I'm not sure I like that because now we can't read click me, so maybe that wasn't the best choice. Let's see if we made it. Maybe made it darker. So I think this is navy. Let me double check. Yeah, background navy. So what you can do is background hover navy. This will refresh, and now you can see that it darkens there. And that's actually pretty cool looking. If we wanted to change the color of the text on hover too, we could do that by doing hover blue, for instance. And now we'll see. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. We don't need that. So that's actually, that's getting darker. Let's see if we did hover white instead. And I think something is a little strange about that. I wonder what it would be like if this transition was being applied. Because right now it seems like it's being applied just to the text. So one thing I can do, actually, this link is applying that transition. I can just, if I get rid of this, you can see the underline's going to come back. If I just don't want the underline, I can type in no underline, and it's gone. And now this is right away, which I think is a little cleaner. So we just built a button that's custom as the way we wanted it to look, using tachyons. And basically, you know, if you're doing this inside of like some kind of other template, where you, like in Angular, for instance, you can make a directive out of this so that your button is like an element, and then you can pass in, like within your template, you can pass in all of these styles. So you're not having to, you've built your own custom button that is now styled the way you want it everywhere, and you can just apply it as your own button element. But if you're not there yet, I feel like this Tachyons is a great way to get started learning CSS, because it makes you, rather than like learning a framework. They can be nice, but like this really forces you to think about what you're doing in terms of CSS, and really apply your knowledge in a way that allows it to build and expand. And it's just so much less frustrating when you're working on things as they get bigger, because as you saw, I mean, I did all of this work on this button, and I didn't add any CSS. I did all of this adding classes to the HTML, and the only CSS that I added to the Tachyons library was mainly it came from this colors site and the GitHub repo corresponding to it, which I'm not sure that I actually linked that here, but it is this site. Their link to the GitHub is where is it? Let me get this away so we can see. Yeah, so you can look on GitHub and you could see this repo, and the source here is basically just adding a few colors and stroke fills, which I haven't really gotten into, but this is, it's amazingly powerful what you can do with it, and really worth checking out. So I hope you liked the video, and feel free to like it and subscribe if you want more of these, and check out the blog post or Medium. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Bye-bye.